Hello guys, it's Vincent here, and today I will be doing a video showing the different ways that you can prepare a doll for customization. So there's multiple ways that I've seen on the internet of people showing how you can do it. I've tried out many different ways myself, and I just wanted to really compare the different sides of it, showing the difference between using a hairdryer or hot water to take the head off, showing the different kind of scissors that you can use, showing the difference between using normal acetone nail polish remover versus 100% pure acetone, just showing the difference, showing what's easier, what's cheaper, everything like that, just the whole lot. So the first thing, I have got these two dolls here. They are both Spectra Vondergeist, I think that's her name, pretty sure that's who this is. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments. But I wanted to get two of the same, just so in the end it will be a relatively similar result, so you'll be able to see the different effects. But yeah, I know this isn't exactly the same model of doll, but she should have the same mould underneath all of the makeup and hair. Although her hands are different on this one, but I won't be touching the hands. This will be focusing on the hair and the face. So, to start off with, you're going to want to cut off the hair. I've got two different types of scissors here. So these ones are just standard, the kind of scissors you would find in a school, just kind of, oh, I don't even know, oh, there's sellotape on it, whoops. So yeah, just like really standard scissors. And then these are nail cutting scissors, which have a lot finer, oh, I've got sellotape stuck to me. Yeah. You can see the difference. It's a lot finer of how close you can get to the head and everything like that, so I'll just show you the difference. So we'll start with this one and we'll just get in there and cut all the hair off. Now, it is a relatively messy process to prepare a doll for customizing, just warning you now. Your hands will get sticky and covered in stuff, and your desk will get covered in stuff, so just be prepared for that. So that is her hair cut off using just the standard scissors. Let's get all of that out of the way. And then with this love, we will take the nail scissors. And that is this lady's hair cut off with the finer scissors. Now, I'm sure you could see from that, it took a lot longer to cut it with the smaller scissors, but I mean, that's kind of obvious. They're a smaller pair of scissors, but it does allow you to get closer to the head. I mean, not a whole lot, but there's definitely a difference there. But it's whatever works for you. So whether you want to go in first with the normal scissors, hack it all off really quickly, and then go in with the smaller ones to get it slightly closer to the head. It's just better to have it shorter so that when you have to pull the hair out from the inside, there is less hair on the outside to pull out. But I mean, it doesn't really matter if it's like this, that's absolutely fine, it will still come through. So that is comparing the scissors. So the next thing to prepare your dolls is you need to take their heads off. Now the two main ways that people talk about doing this is either using a hairdryer or using boiling water. I personally prefer using boiling water because you can use it multiple times. You know, you only have to boil your kettle once and then you can use that hot water across multiple dolls if you are prepping multiple dolls at once. I just personally don't like using a hairdryer. It takes a whole lot longer. It's, you know, a lot of use of electricity and whatever, so. But I will show you the two anyways. So if we just start with the hot water, I have got a lovely mug here full of hot water straight from the kettle. I hear a lot of people complain about doing it this way because they don't want to get water everywhere, blah blah blah. It's just water. If you're an artist, you're probably going to be using water a lot of the time anyways, so whatever. And it's not like you can't just wipe it up if you spill it. But I will say, if you're a young child, please don't do this by yourself. I would rather you do it with the supervision of a parent or guardian, or have them do it for you. I don't want anyone burning themselves by accident because I advised you to use boiling water. If you want to do this and you are young, get your parents to help you. So you just want to have their heads in there for maybe 20 to 30 seconds or so. And then once it's got to that point, it should be more than easy to just pop the head off. But make sure when you do it, you have some kind of protection for your hands. Don't just go grabbing at it straight away with your bare hands because you will burn yourself. Yeah, her head's feeling really quite squishy now. If you can see the difference, it's just very... Oh, let's not spill it. Okay, so if we just move that to the side a little bit. Let any of the drips of water come out. And I just like to press the head and then just pull the body. See? Nice and easy, and then there is her head, and there, like, there's no breaking the peg at all there, so chill. And then you can just pop the head on a tea towel or whatever you want to use and just pop it to the side for the water to just dry up a little bit. And now I will get my other love and a hairdryer. This cord isn't very long, so hopefully that'll get here. But this is an old hairdryer, but it still works, so whatever. And you want to make sure it is on the hot setting. Or maybe this is broken. What's going on? Okay, we'll just keep it on the medium one. Okay, and then again we're just going to take the tea towel, squeeze her head, and just pull. Okay. So there is both of our dolls. Now headless. This one's still got water coming out of her, but it's fine. The reason I don't like using the hairdryer is because it takes longer, it's noisy, it uses unnecessary electricity, you're more of a risk of breaking the neck peg. I don't like doing it that way. It is possible. If you prefer doing that over using boiling water, that's absolutely fine, but me personally, I much prefer just using boiling water. It's quicker, it's easier, it's just, in my opinion, the better option. If you disagree, that's absolutely fine. So let's get the bodies out of the way. Now you just want to take some tweezers. These are old crafty tweezers, which are great for doing this kind of stuff because they've got a bit of a curve to them and they can really get in there and pinch. I don't think you can even see that. There we go. Curvy, pinchy friends. And another thing with using the hairdryer, it does not melt the glue inside half as well as putting them in boiling water does. So if you want pulling the little hair plugs and glue and everything out to be a lot easier, putting them in boiling water melts the glue a lot faster and a lot more than using a hairdryer does. Now taking the plugs out will be different for every single doll because when they're manufactured it's all done differently, especially if it's, you know, these are clearly two different seasons of the same doll from two different series or whatever you want to call it. So they would have been manufactured at different times. I don't know if the dates on the back of their heads. Also, these are both 2010, but they wouldn't have been made at the same time. And even if they were, you know, it's still different with the amount of glue that might have been put into the head, or some of them, I've had plenty of them where I've taken the hair out and there has been no glue inside of the head and it's just been the hair plugs. So it's always a gamble with doing this. I'll start with this one, and you just want to put the tweezers up inside and just swirl them around and you'll get most of them out nice and easily like that. See, there's still water coming out of her, but I mean, who cares? It's water. It's not the end of the world. Unless you're allergic to it, and then maybe don't, but like, I don't think there's many people out there that are allergic to water. Maybe I'm wrong. So there we go, that is most of the plugs now inside of the head, and now you just want to try and pull it all out. This is, in my opinion, the most satisfying part and also the most disgusting part, because this is when your hands will get all sticky. But also doing that is just ever so satisfying. Is that even in focus? Come on. See, this is probably the messiest part of the whole process of preparing the doll anyway. I don't know what you're going to do to it when you customize it. You might do something very messy. I don't know. But preparing the doll, this is the messiest part. And also the most time consuming, I think. Some people prefer to speed it up by just cutting a hole in the back of the head, which, fair enough, if that's how you want to do it. It makes sense a lot of the time. It would probably make more sense if I did it that way, because I like to give my dolls inset eyes. so I need to have a hole in the back of their head anyways. But I like doing this. I find it therapeutic. It's a lot of fun, so I still do it this way. And I don't like to cut their heads apart until I go to insert their eyes, until I customize them. So while they're in their box, I like their heads to still be all together. Okay, so I think that is the majority of everything out of this head. I can see that there's still a couple little bits in there, but it's fine. It's mostly... Why is this not focusing? Yeah, it's mostly all out from inside of there. So that is the beautiful mess that just came out of here. And I think with this one, I am going to cut the head open just to show it as how you can do it. It is definitely an option, and if it's something that you would prefer, then cool. Boyfriend is home! Right, so what makes this easier is when you can cut a hole in the back, you're not restricted by the size of the neck hole, and also you could see before with this one, around the neck there is almost like a lip that the hair can get stuck behind, and it does make it harder to pull it out that way. but doing it this way you can cut the hole as big as you want. I mean, you could cut the entire back of the head off if you wanted. It's all up to you. So you can see the difference with the head that I took off with the hairdryer. Will you please?
What? I'm in the other room.
But you're burping really loudly whilst I'm trying to talk.
That is a delicate one.
Go away. Go into your room. You're banned until I'm finished. Have you gone, or are you just standing there? Now he's being really loud. Okay, so you can tell the difference with this, the head that I took off with the hairdryer, and the glue is still very hard and very stuck together, whereas with the head that I took off with the boiling water, the glue had dissolved a lot more and it was a lot more flexible and a lot easier to get out. So that's, I mean, you can see it's a lot tougher to get the hairs. Even getting the hairs out of the holes is just that little bit harder. You'd be able to see the difference of how much more of a struggle it was if I was doing the same way of trying to pull it out through the neck hole. It would take absolutely ages. I've done it in the past where I tried to take it out through the neck hole when it was one that I'd taken off with a hairdryer, and it probably took me about an hour to try and get all of the plugs out from the head. So there is a huge difference. Okay, so I think that is everything out of this head as well now, mostly. And now my hands are completely covered in gook, and so is the head, so that's great. That's another reason why I don't like using the hairdryer. Another thing with the back of the head, if you don't like adding insert eyes or anything like that, you can just glue this shut once you've put the head back on the body. preferably. Yeah, just glue the head shut again, just with super glue or whatever, just a strong glue, and it should be absolutely fine. Okay, so now that we have taken all of the hair off and out of the head, I'm just going to put the heads back on their bodies. Should probably get the gook off of this one first, actually. Okay. Okay, one back on. And the other back on. Cool. So now we are going to compare using just a normal nail varnish remover. This does have acetone in it. That is something that you want to make sure of. Otherwise it probably won't do anything, but yeah, so there's a normal one, and then this one is 100% pure acetone. So we'll do this girl first, and we're just going to use this for the first one. Now, I've seen a lot of people say that using this is a cheap alternative to just buying some acetone, but I completely disagree, because of the fact that you will go through so much of it. It doesn't take it off as easily. It's about the same price to just buy a bottle of acetone. I mean, yes, you can definitely use this if you've already got it in your house, and you know, go ahead. But if you're thinking of doing this on a more regular basis, it's definitely worth buying acetone. If you only want to do it the once, you just want to give it a try, then, you know, fair enough, use whatever you've got, but I would not recommend using this. My phone's buzzing. I would not recommend using this if you want to do this as a more regular thing or a more full-time thing. You're going to go through a lot more of it because it doesn't do the job as well, and you're going to go through a lot more Q-tips and cotton wipes and everything, cotton pads. It also works best if you press kind of hard while you're doing it. That'll just really lift it off. If you just kind of rub it, it just spreads it around everywhere. So. And it helps to just get between the lips. If you just squeeze the face a little bit, and then you can get between there and get that paint out from in there. Okay, and once we have got the majority of the face off, you just want to take a cotton pad. You can see there is still definitely some stuff left around there, so I'm just going to take a cotton pad. And that's still not all of it gone. Using this kind of stuff definitely makes it a much longer process. Because you want to get the face as clean as you can, otherwise you might end up with a muddy paint job from what you're trying to do on top of it. So I mean, in the camera that seems to look really clean, but I can promise you it's not. Can you see more there, I think? There is just still a lot of little... It probably doesn't help where I chose a white one, but there's definitely still marks all over the skin that I just can't get off using this one, so that is enough of that for now. And now we'll go on to using the acetone. I mean, I'm sure you can see the difference straight away. I'm not having to press hard at all. It is just coming straight off. Okay, so I mean that's the majority of the face off now anyway, and I'm just gonna go over it again. Just with a cotton pad. That wasn't even intentional to take it off, but that just started coming off, so I went with it. But there is the difference between, I mean, you can barely see it. It might be the light that's making it so unreliable, but there is still marks all over the one on the left side and then the one on the right side. All of the paint just came straight off, nice and easy. You see? I hope my camera's picking this up. I can't tell. But I mean, I'm sure you could tell just how easy it is to use the acetone in comparison to the nail polish remover. It makes a huge difference, although I have just put a big purple mark on her nails. So now I'm just going to go and rinse them off with some water, just to get rid of any of the chemicals left behind from doing that, and I will be right back. Okay, so there we are, that's it. That is me showing you guys multiple ways to prepare your dolls for customizing. My personal opinion on which of these to use: cutting the hair off, scissors, it doesn't really matter. Either way, you're gonna get the hair off. It doesn't really make any difference. The bigger scissors, obviously you can do it a lot faster. The smaller ones, you can get closer to the head, but it takes longer. It's up to you. Then removing the heads. Personally, I prefer using the hot water, just because I feel like it makes it a lot less messy. Whenever I've done it with the hairdryer, I've ended up with really sticky hands afterwards, but when I've done it with the water, it's never made a mess everywhere, so I don't know, and it makes it a lot easier, a lot faster. I personally would just go for the boiling water, but of course not everyone's going to agree with me. Removing the faces, I would say use pure acetone, 100% pure acetone. It makes a huge difference, it really does. And then taking the hair out, whether you want to pull it out through the neck or whether you want to cut a hole in the back of the head and pull it out that way, again, it's up to you, doesn't really make a difference. It is easier if you cut open a hole in the head, but that depends on whether or not you want your doll to have a hole in its head. And I guess it depends on how you want to do the hair afterwards. You know, if you want to reroot the doll, then it's probably best not to cut a hole in its head. But if you're just going to glue the hair on, it doesn't really matter. You're not going to see it, it's not going to make a difference to the holes. So, you know, that's up to you. But if this is something that you're interested in, give it all a go, see what's best for you. That's what I did. I watched many videos of people saying what they thought was best. But I still tried all of the different things to see what worked best for me personally. And yeah, so don't always just listen to people on the internet, try it out for yourself. And I hope you enjoy customizing some dolls for yourself. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, please like or leave a comment. If you really want, you could subscribe. I always appreciate the support. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!